And we want you to know that eventually you will. When you croak, you'll get up to speed with you. Because when you have, we like to be disrespectful about death since there isn't any. When you have your death experience, when you have what you call your death experience, you will withdraw your consciousness from this time-space reality, which means you will stop thought focused here. And when you stop thought focused here, you'll stop resistant thought. And we want you to know the only resistant thought that exists is the thought that is here in this time-space reality. In other words, from the source perspective, you never think resistant thought. So isn't it nice of you to be willing to come forth into this leading edge environment where you are willing to expose yourself to the difficulties, you might say, to the contrast of life for the purpose of refining and coming to greater preferences? And isn't it wonderful that the source within you immediately takes to and focuses upon that newly preferred? So the only difference really worth mentioning between you and the part of you that is source is that source will not continue to beat the drum of unwanted, and you do. In other words, when the lackful experience is what sharpened your awareness to what you want, source goes to what you want and never turns back. But you tend to want to justify why you want that by pointing out how bad this is. We think you got it from your mother. Because when you said, I want something, she said, yeah. But when you said, I need it or I will die, I must have it, you had to plead often a pretty needy case. And so much of your human experience, it's the way you operate. You're trying to motivate others on your behalf by pointing out how much you need something. And we want you to understand that the reason that that neediness feels so needy is because you're pinching yourself off from the resources. When you are in that needy place, when you are in that place where you are focused upon the lack, I don't have enough money, 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 I don't have enough money. There isn't enough, there isn't enough, there isn't enough, there isn't enough, there isn't enough. I've never had enough, I've never had enough, I've never had enough, I've never had enough. I don't know anybody who has enough, I don't know anybody who has enough, I don't know anybody who has enough. When you beat those drums, when you hold yourself in that active vibration, because you see, what you think activates a vibration within you. And if you keep thinking it, that activation becomes stronger. And the stronger it becomes, the more law of attraction then only gives you access to thoughts that feel like that, you see. You can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. The frequencies have to match up. And you can't set your radio dial on I don't have enough of something. You can't be so aware of what is, of the need of what is, and get what's over there in your vibrational escrow. You can't do it. You have to start telling a new story. You have to try to get inside this feeling of this vortex, this vibrational escrow. You have to try to get inside of it and imagine, what would prosperity feel like? What would it feel like? What would the absence of worry feel like? Can I remember ever being carefree? What does carefree feel like? What does the absence of resistance feel like? What does it feel like to feel well? Well, it's not easy to conjure that image when you're sick, when you're hurting. You can do it if you're able to separate the actuality of what is from the emotional response to it. You can get to anywhere that you want to be from wherever you are. But you got to let go of what is. And that's the thing that we really want to talk about here today. We want to talk about how you can give less attention to what is, unless it's really blissfully delightful, how you can give less attention to what is and more attention to where you are going or to what is becoming. And as you reorient yourself in just that slight way, you will be amazed to see how cooperative the universe is at providing for you a means, a path, a way to accomplish anything that you can imagine. We want to say to you unequivocally that if your time-space reality has the data, the experience, the wherewithal to produce within you an idea of something that you want, This same time-space reality has the wherewithal to give it to you in full manifestational form. If you can imagine it, you can manifest it. There is no exception to that. But you got to let go of what is in order to move to a new place. And that's the thing that is the most tricky about most of you, because you've become so good at observing what is, at talking about what is, about documenting what is, about joining online chat groups about what is. You've gotten so good at observing and getting involved in what is that you are rather slow, most of you, to move on to what you really prefer. It's as if you wear what is, even though you don't like a lot of it, as a badge of honor. Most of you not recognizing that your attention to what is the very thing that is preventing you from where you want to be. And it's such an interesting irony, because the contrast, some of which you don't want, the contrast is what causes you to have the idea of expansion. It's what causes your stream to move faster. It would be fair to say that the contrast that you often do not like at all is literally the stuff that puts the eternalness in eternity. In other words, the reason that there is no ending to that which we be is because we have the ability to expand from where we are, you see. And so really what creating is about is managing the contrast. What creating is about is being aware of how you feel and moving your thought for the purpose of moving your feeling. Your thought is what creates. Your thought or focus is what activates the vibration that law of attraction responds to. Your emotions do not create. Your emotions are your indicator of what you are creating. And so, as you decide that your emotions are your best friend, and you begin to say, today, no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intent to look for things that feel good when I see them. You did not say, as you came forth into your physical experience, I'll go forth and I'll find the problems and I'll push them away. Because from that vantage point, you understood that this is a universe that is based upon attraction. It's based upon inclusion. There's no such thing as no in an inclusion-based universe. When you see something you want and you say yes to it, you include it in your vibration. It's like saying, come to me, this thing I want. But when you see something you don't want and you shout no at it, it's like saying, come to me, this thing I do not want. You have a war against drugs and a war against AIDS and a war against cancer and a war against poverty and a war against terrorism. And all of them are getting bigger, because when you try to push away something, it doesn't go away. All that happens is you activate it in your vibration, and then you use it as your excuse to not go with who you are. So when you see something unwanted, like cancer or terrorism, it causes you to ask for something better. It causes you to ask for a more peaceful world, or a world where more are honored and appreciated, or a world where more ideas are allowed, the world that you intended, where the diversity is your strength, not your weakness. And so as you ask for that, and then you continue to push against the opposite of it, you don't let yourself have that, you see. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing that is off limits. It will be a wonderful unfolding. What do you want to talk about? Well, it's going to be a very good day. Begin right here.